Hey everybody, today I'm going to be telling you about the Extrude tool. So the Extrude tool is probably a tool that you're going to use the most when using Fusion 360. That might depend on whether you're doing more surfacing or sheet metal design, things like that. But for the most part, for your average user, the Extrude tool is going to be used the most. So make sure you're paying attention to this. And if these videos are something that you find useful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so how do we do an extrusion? Well, you can see here we have the extrude tool, but if I just click that right away, there's not really anything to start with. There's not a profile, which is what this tool is looking for. So before I can actually create an extrusion or a new body, I got to create a sketch. So there's two quick ways to get to that. You can see create sketch right here. I can also hit S on my keyboard, which brings up this search bar. And from there, you can see I can also create a sketch. So let's do that and just start with something very simple. So you got to pick a plane where you want to begin your sketch. We'll just start here. Okay, now you have all these different options. You can create a square or a circle or a spline, all sorts of different things. You probably want to start with something simple if you're just getting started. Let's do a circle. We start here. We'll start in the middle of this at the center. We'll dimension this. Let's just say it's a 5-inch in diameter circle. Okay. Now we have something that we can actually extrude. So how do we do that? Well, again, there's a few ways. Easiest way is just going to go up here, click on your solid, click extrude. And so since you only had one very simple sketch, it finds it automatically, knows what you're trying to start with to create your extrusion. So you can click this arrow and bring it up and voila, look, we have a body that is starting to be extruded out of this sketch. And you can dimension that to be whatever you want, 2.23 inches. Let's go with that. So there we go. That is a new body, a new extrusion that you just created in a matter of seconds. Really easy, really straightforward. But there's something, especially if you're coming from another software like SolidWorks, you might notice that there's not a cut extrude tool up here. So what do? Well, Fusion 360 also makes that pretty easy by combining it with just the standard extrude. So I'll show a quick example of that as well. So let's pick this top surface of the cylinder we just extruded. Again, I'm going to use S on the keyboard, create a new sketch. And this time, let's just pick a random rectangle. Then I'm going to throw some dimensions on there just for fun. So that's 1 inch by, let's call this 2.25 inches. And, it's not fully dimensioned, but for this example, that'll be okay. I'll dive into why that is important in the future, in some future tutorials. But for now, let's stick with this. So, okay, so what do? We know that we can extrude this the way we extruded the cylinder. So I could click extrude. And here, since there's multiple profiles I could click, I actually have to choose one. It won't automatically select it. So I'll choose this selection. But if I try to extrude, I just add on to the body, which might be what you're trying to do. And if you want these two pieces, these two extrusions to remain one body, you can change that right here. So this is a join operation. It means it's just going to add more material to the body that you had already extruded. There's other options in here. You can also do a cut, which I will show you in a second, intersect, or you can create a whole new body. So if you wanted this, this profile to be extruded, but you want it to be a different separate body for whatever your reasons might be, you have an option for that. But we want to figure out how to cut this, right? So how do we actually put a cut into this extrusion that we already made? So you can hit cut right here, but you notice that we got an error because I had drug this up and there was no body actually there to cut. So it threw an arrow saying, what are you trying to cut? It's just empty space. So if I grab this arrow and go the other direction, now you can see it's turning red and we are beginning to cut into this extrusion that we had made previously. So I can drag that all the way through and there we go. We've got our cut. So pretty simple. Use the same tool to create an extrusion, and it's the same tool to do a cut extrude or to make a cut into the body that you've already created. And as I mentioned in my last tutorial, you can see down here, there's a timeline of how this part has been made. And you can actually click here and drag it back to where there's just the original sketch we had started with, no body. And then if I can get this cursor on there, you can drag and see this first extrusion we made. And then you can drag it again and boom, there's the cut we made. So that's just a really quick introduction to the extrude tool. Again, this is a tool that you're probably going to use the most out of anything else in Fusion 360. So this is something worth spending some time getting used to and understanding. So that's all I have for today. That's all I have for this very quick introduction to the extrude tool in Fusion 360. As always, remember, design more, despair less. Thanks for watching.